Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. My name is Marc Freedman.
And I'm Marion Gilman.
And we're here to provide you with some financial advice in a language you can understand.
We're here every week doing that.
We do. And we do our best. We try to mix it up a little bit. We kind of make it fun. We talk about a lot of different things. But, the month of March has started, and some people will be celebrating Mardi Gras this week. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Lots of
all kinds of fun stuff.
And, March is one of those holidays where I often used to think when I was a kid, it was the worst month of the year.
Well, because you didn't get a day off, right?
You see, you knew that too.
No long weekend.
That's right. That was like the only month of the year where you had to go to school every day.
It's really depressing in a way,
It is.
We have to go to work every day too.
I know. Speaking about work, my son Jerry said to me last week, he's now working for this company, Kaseya, down in Miami.
Yeah.
And he says, Dad, do you know that I have to work every day in the office from 8:30 to 5?
Shocking.
Where's my work-life balance?
Shocking. And back in the day, we were thrilled to have a job that paid us to work 8:30 to 5.
And he's complaining that he doesn't have a chance to get home to see the sunset in Miami. Dad, I just don't understand it. Why can't I have like 2 days to work from home? Because the job says to be in the office and you work with your team and you.
So I've been with Freedman Financial for almost 25 years.
Right.
And for the first 20, we worked 8:30 to 5 in the office every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon for most people, right?
No, and it changed with COVID.
Right.
That was the first time it actually changed.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Anyways.
to see how that all changes. But it also made me think, because he's got his a job that he's working with right now, and he's learning about money, and he's has his expenses and he's offsetting them. And I came across this post this week. It was called 8 Non-Negotiable Money Rules. I just found it on Facebook. Yeah. And I thought some of these were kind of cute things for us to talk about, and they really hold true today, whether this was published in 1935 or published in 2025. These are money rules that if you want to be successful, things to consider. You want to take the first one?
Sure.
Can you see it?
I believe it or not, I can. It's large enough that even I can see it without my glasses on. So the first one is be frugal, but avoid being cheap.
Yeah, and to value your resources wisely. So, it's really interesting to watch how the climate, the way we spend, the way we see how our clients think about spending, and the way how our children think about spending.
Right. And, you want to think about this. I mean, there are a variety of ways to think about this. But a lot of times people will go, really cut corners when it's not necessary. And they end up either not enjoying what they're doing because they cut corners. For instance, they might get the worst seat in the house, but go to a baseball game.
Right.
And they might be somewhere where they can't even see, and it would have been a much nicer experience to be a little bit further, a little bit closer. They could have seen more, enjoyed it more. So you don't want to cheap out on a lot of things because you want that experience.
Especially if it's a one-time experience.
Exactly.
When you go on vacation and you're planning ahead to go on this vacation, what is the difference between staying in one type of a hotel versus another, or having the economic experience versus the VIP experience and everything in between? Where do you find that sweet spot?
Yeah, and I mean, it might mean that you set a budget for the trip and decide where it's, what are the right places to splurge and, be a little more extravagant versus other places where you say, well, this is not important to me. I can cut back a little bit there.
Well, here's a perfect example that we see happen all the time is our clients will travel internationally.
Yeah.
And we'll tell them, look, you have the resources. Get a nice hotel. Stay at a nice place. travel business class if you want to.
If they have the resources.
If they have the resources, of course. But what ends up happening, interestingly, is they will end up spending money on business class, in some cases, business class seats, which can be $5,000, $8,000 to travel to these locations, yet they cheap out on the hotel. And when they cheap out on the hotel, that's your choice, of course, how much time will you spend in the hotel and all of the amenities that go along with the hotel over the course of your vacation versus that experience to fly to Europe, in some cases, and you sleep most of the ride.
Right. Well, also, I mean, another thing that we see a lot is people, in order to get a less expensive hotel, they will stay outside of the center of town, and
Great
they
example.
spend a lot of time commuting or a lot of time on the subway. And I know, it's so tempting to do that sometimes. And that is one thing I have always opted to stay in the center of town, close to the things I want to see, because it's so much nicer to be able to get up in the morning and walk 5 minutes and you're somewhere.
Yeah, those extra costs for Ubers, for parking, for valet,
Exactly.
for an amount of time you have to wake
time.
up. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you might spend an hour getting in. So, for instance, I love to go to big cities, and we go to Paris, and we stay in the middle of Paris. Versus if you stay outside, you could spend 45 minutes just getting to the center.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's take another one of these.
Yeah.
It says.
We're gonna talk about the first one.
I mean,
and never
there's
get to
8
that.
of them here. We'll
Go
never
ahead.
get through all of them at this rate. It's absolutely fine to spend on what brings you joy, but just make sure you live within your means.
And that's sort of the budget thing. If you have a budget for a trip that you're taking, what's going to bring you the most joy? A nice hotel, fly in business class, go into great restaurants.
Yeah, I mean,
if you can't afford all of them.
Yeah, and you don't want to carry credit card debt. We share the story about, that the average credit card debt for an individual, I mean, you can look this up, is $13,000 to $16,000. That's a lot of money, a ton of money.
And at today's interest rates, it's crazy to carry credit card debt.
Yeah, so I'll go back to my son, Jerry, who we talked about earlier. Jerry called me this week and he said, Dad, I have a $1,400 credit card bill, but if I pay the bill now, I'll have nothing left in the bank account. I have some money coming in through my paycheck, so it'll be flush, but should I hold off and wait and pay it next week? He says, I'll only have 3 or 4 days of interest payments if I pay it. What Jerry didn't understand, number one, is that on a credit card, there's not a daily interest charge. Whatever the value of your account is at the end of that month, that's the interest rate that you're going to pay for the next 30 days.
And there's a late fee.
Right. And he didn't believe me, but that's what kids do, of course. And
You're his father.
And he insisted, Dad, but it's only a 10% interest rate. Well, I proved him otherwise. No, it was a 22% interest rate. And so it was a little bit of a learning experience for him. So
think about that, 22% interest rate. That's huge.
it was crazy. So it was going to cost him $25 in interest on a $1,400 credit card bill, plus the late fee, of course. That gets on there, too. So it's something we learned. But one of the things that I loved that was on this list, it says, invest in experiences rather than material possessions. Memories last longer.
And we've talked about that a lot because, and I suppose it has to do with my age, your age. You're not as old as me, but you're still getting up there.
I'm feeling old.
There you go. Well, it depends on the day, right? In any event, experiences are much more valuable at this point in life than buying new things, whatever those new things are. I don't really need anything. I mean,
God,
you
what
look
do
at
we
your
need?
closet or whatever, you think, I have so much crap in here, I don't need to buy more stuff. But those experiences that you really enjoy, and you can, whether it's a night out, a special night out, whether it's going to theater or concerts, whatever it might be, travel someplace new and different, it's really wonderful to be able to have those experiences.
Yeah, even
You're
just-
having a great experience this year.
Oh, I got a lot of
You
great
got a
experiences.
lot of
We
them,
got a lot of
right?
great experiences. But, here's an experience that I'm sure many of our viewers have actually been through. I often tell this story about how people like to go to Disney World. And when you ask your kids, what is it that you want to do in Disney? What are you most looking forward to? And some of your kids, depending upon the ages that they're at, it might be meeting a character. It might be going on a particular ride. Okay, that's what they're looking for. When the vacation is over, ask them what was the most memorable thing that they did on that trip. And I assure you, it won't be the ride that they went on. It won't be the character that they met. It'll be something that happened on vacation. That will remain indelible in their mind forever. That experience.
Exactly. And you know, you can't buy those things, or you can't necessarily time those things. So sometimes it's just time away with good friends, good family, whoever it might be, to create your own experiences.
Yeah. Here's another non-negotiable money rule. Remember, just because it's on sale doesn't mean you're saving money. Now,
my husband will tell you that.
Yeah, so, but I think that's more something that, I don't know, my wife calls it girl math, as does my daughter Mindy and my daughter Alana. And so, I don't know, I think guys get this one more than the women do.
You do?
Do you think I'm being sexist there?
Oh, probably, but that's okay.
Well, it just seems but Dad, it was 50% off. But did you need it? Just because it was 50% off, do we need to get it?
Well, so my husband will tell you, you know, it's 50% off. So that extra 50% I can spend on 3 other things that were all probably equal to the 50% each. So,
exactly.
you know, you just spend it over and over again. And if you get a refund, that's like, whatever. Golden, that's free money.
Absolutely. All right. One more before we go. How about set aside a fun budget to treat yourself guilt-free. You want to enjoy life while being financially responsible. And that's what we talk about all the time.
Absolutely. And, you know, particularly, I think it's very important when you get to retirement as well, or as you get older. You really want, I know when you're in your working years, sometimes you don't have time to think about or do certain things. Whereas as you get older and you have the time, think about what fun things you want to do, that you, again, experiences you want to create, whatever it is. Set aside money to do that, so you don't end up saying, well, I really don't have the money this month to do that, or if it's coming out of your regular budget.
I'm reminded of the old Fidelity commercial that we still talk about to this day, where people said, you know, all these years I was taught how important it was to save my money.
Right.
But no one ever taught me how to spend it. And for so many generations, we worked so hard saying, I need to save for a rainy day. I need to accumulate this money. I need to put money aside. And then you get to this period of time when you don't need to save any more money, but you don't know how to spend it. And so you still try to live with that frugal type lifestyle that you grew up with, not knowing how to enjoy it. And so I often use the expression, try to live with 1 foot in the present and 1 foot in the future. Find some time to spend money for yourself today on experiences, on things that you enjoy doing, knowing full well you have to still save something for the future, but find that balance.
And that's a great way to, you know, live your life and be able to enjoy your resources throughout your life expectancy.
So these are tidbits of information that we provide to our clients each and every week, through our newsletter that we put out, whenever we sit down to talk with them, whenever they call us. If you'd like to be part of our family, if you'd like to join the Freedman Financial family, be a client of ours, we'd love to meet you. Our phone number, 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or perhaps you'd just like to get a taste of what we do beyond this video and get our newsletter that comes out each and every Friday, 10:30 in the morning. All you have to do, and that's Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
All you need to do is go to our website, freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman.
2 E's and a D.
Financial.com. Go to the bottom of any page, put in your name, your email address, and boom, you'll get our newsletter and join the 7,000 plus subscribers that get it each and every Friday. Well, that's going to do it for us this week.
Well, have a great week, everyone.
And we'll see you next week with more financial advice in a language you can understand. Have a great day.
Enjoy.
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.